So the Cleveland Guardians just won Game 2 of the series against the Yankees, 3-2 in comeback fashion. They got the job done. I thought Tanner Bibee was really solid. I've been saying it all along. If he can just go out there and be aggressive and make his pitches and not pitch scared, he can be dominant because solo home runs do not beat you. They just don't. When you give up a bunch of walks and you're scared to attack the best hitters like Aaron Judge, like Goldschmidt, that's when you run into trouble because then somebody like Jazz Chisholm will beat you. He'll go deep and hit a 3-run bomb and it'll be very deflating and it's hard to come back from. But tonight, Bibee was perfect. He attacked from the get-go. He got beat on the first pitch of the game when Rice homered, but hey, it was just one run and the guards responded, they locked in, and they had a big guard ball inning where Kwan stole home and they just methodically figured out a way to take the lead. And that right there is how the Guardians are going to make the playoffs this year. I've been saying it since day one. I know they kind of started out a little slower than last season, but I really do think the Guardians are the best team in the AL Central, and they're going to show it all year long. Kwan is just amazing, man. It's hard to put into words what he means to this team. Today, he came to bat and did a little gender reveal for David Fry. He's having a baby girl. And he had another multi-hit day, and even when he didn't get hits, he put the ball in play, and that's just what he does, man. He moves runners. He never has wasteful at bats. Every single bat accomplishes something, even if he doesn't end up getting on base. And his stats are just unreal. He's gonna bat close to 350 this year, and that's just who he's become. I think he's gonna be like an Ichiro type of player that also has a little bit of pop as well. So I think when his career is all said and done, he's gonna have a better resume than Ichiro, and that's just insane because this dude is he's just at the very start of what is going to be a Hall of Fame career, and I really hope Cleveland can extend him like today. They need to get it done because the Dolans really are gonna lose some of the fan base if they cannot retain Kwan. That is one player that has to stay in Cleveland. Nolan Jones had a hit in this game. He was 1 for 3. I will say he has been getting kind of unlucky. He's been hitting the ball hard. It's just been right at people. But still, if you watch my previous videos, you know I'm not the biggest Nolan Jones fan. I think Will Brennan is better, but it is baseball. You got to give him a month or so to get things figured out. Maybe this is just like a crazy Chris Davis situation where he's going to go like 1 for 60, but then he's going to get 20 hits after that because the law of averages always come into play in baseball, especially if you're as talented as Jones. But the start of his season has definitely left a lot to be desired. Jose Ramirez was 0 for 4 in this game. There were some really good pitches thrown at him. He still found a way to make some good plays at third base, which has kind of been a struggle at the early part of the season, but he's going to get that figured out. I'm not really worried about Jose. This was just a bad game. He's going to rebound tomorrow. He'll probably go deep tomorrow just based on what I've seen from him throughout his career, especially in day games. He loves to go yard on day games, so if you're a sports bettor, definitely put that on the slip. Kyle Manzardo, who DH'd in this game, had another big hit. He was 1 for 4. He drove a single to right field that Aaron Judge kind of misplayed it, but at the same time, it was going to be a single either way. I think Judge should have just pulled up on that ball, but instead it bounced over his head, and Manzardo was able to get to second base, which then led to what was the game-winning run when he scored after Angel Martinez drove him in. I don't know if it got marked as an error and hit. I'll have to check. I think it should have been a hit because that ball was kind of in no man's land, but Yankees infielders definitely have to be better. I know Yankees fans were pissed at that, but Martinez has been so good this year. I've said it like 40 times. He's the unsung hero of the early part of this season. He's batting about 360, and I expect him to be in the bigs for the rest of this season. He just goes up there and he produces. The moment is never too big for him. He just hits, and he puts together quality at bats every time. Alright, now let's talk about Brayan Rocchio for a second because I don't know what to think about him at this point. I feel like he commits an error every single game, but then you look at his stats and he's like one of the best shortstops and best defenders in the league. I know he was in the race for a Gold Glove last year, but I just feel like when I watch him, just with the eye test, he makes bad mistakes. Today he booted a ball, and at the plate he was 0 for 3. He didn't really produce there. I get that Rocchio has a ton of potential, and I get that he isn't fazed by the moment, but he just makes bad error after bad error, and it just feels like he isn't a major leaguer. But then you look at the numbers again, and he is. So I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys think. I do know that Rocchio can have stretches where he's a really good player, like he showed against the Yankees last year in the postseason, but right now the Rocchio hype train is not moving. Also, another player who kind of gets swept under the rug and doesn't get talked about a lot is Carlos Santana, and he's been struggling right now. His batting average is back to around 210. I know batting average isn't the only stat that matters in hitting, especially nowadays, but he is starting to fall off. He's kind of coming back to reality. He was batting like 270, but I think his older age is starting to show, and I just don't think he's going to be that guy for first base for this entire season. I think Manzardo probably should start there, but then at the same time, like, I don't know, I know Noel can DH, but the Guardians really don't have that extra bat until David Fry comes back. So for now, I guess it works, but Carlos Santana has not been producing, but he is patient, I'll give him that, and he's a great first baseman. So again, definitely curious to hear what you guys think about Carlos Santana in the comments below. He is a Cleveland legend, I'll always have a place in my heart for him, but right now, he is not getting the job done. The bullpen for the Guardians today had a huge and much needed outing. They pitched 3 shutout innings. Clase again was resting. I'm not sure if it was rest or if he really did lose his closing job. I think Stephen Vogt probably just wanted to give him a few days off just to let him like recollect himself and his emotions, because he has just been a mess. And honestly, I wouldn't be against giving him like 2 weeks off, or for a few months just having him as the setup guy so he doesn't have to come in with the 9th knowing that he can blow games, because his mind has just not been right. I still think he has the stuff and he has the talent to be the closer, but he's lazy and I'm starting to lose confidence. But Cade Smith, man, he is just electric to watch, and I have no problem with him being in the closer role. He got it done in just 4 pitches tonight. That is special stuff. Tim Herron and Hunter Gaddis both pitched an inning of scoreless work, which was great to see. And yeah, overall, this was just a great team win. The Guardians now have already won the series, and tomorrow they can finish the job and get the sweep. And could you imagine at this point in the season getting a sweep on the Yankees? That is just a big confidence boost going forward, and that would move the Guardians' winning streak to 6 games. Tomorrow, the pitching matchup will be Carlos Rodon versus Luis Ortiz, who really has been starting to find his groove, so definitely an interesting matchup. He'll either get shelled or he'll pitch a shutout game. That's my prediction. I don't think there's any in between, but based on how things have been going, I think Ortiz is going to show up and perform. And the guards historically have been pretty solid on day games, especially at home, so it's going to be interesting. Maybe I'll even show up. I live in Cleveland, if you guys don't know, so that'll be a game time decision for me. But let me know if you're going to be there, because if I do go, I'll definitely pull up and say what's up and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, that's all I got for this video. I know I was kind of just rambling. If you enjoyed, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.
Cleveland, just how cool is it how this town loves you and your family?
Listen, it's unbelievable. Hopefully we can keep it that way. It's a lot of fun, though.
It is. And when you go through what happened 2 seasons ago, just from